Once upon a time, most of the garden could have been done with that. We've had to expand the list. I never thought I'd ever need a gadget like that. Basically, the height of that doubles. There's a pole inside the pole, basically, so it goes up to a very, very tall height. That is a vicious looking saw. I'm sure that should have come with a case to tuck over it, but it hasn't. And then this gadget, you pull that and you get a pruner for high branches as well with that blade, anvil blade. And then this is a hand version, hand saw. Again, didn't come with a case, but it tucks inside there with a release button. So a hand saw for things that I can reach off of steps. So between those three, we will be attacking that lot down through there. And that large laurel bush is coming down by half, literally half. I want that half the height it is now. And that way I'll be able to see the bamboo and the wisteria. And that tall thing there, you've got the bamboo clump with a few bits sticking up. They can be trimmed off just to tidy it. And then next to it, that I believe is a pyracantha, which is a very, very spiky thing. And that will just get taller and taller if it's not dealt with. So again, that needs coming down to roughly the same height as the bamboo to make that look tidy along there. So it's not a big deal, you know. It might sound like a lot of work, but it isn't. The large conifer tree I can't do anything about because the lowest branches are probably too tall for me to do anything with, so I have to rely on next door doing that. But yeah, this arrived today, and that should enable me to do what I want to do with this evergreen bit here, to let some more light in, and we shall have a go at it at some point. This is not an urgent task. So most of these low growing bushes and everything, whoever tidied this garden up just hacked. They didn't tidy thinking about how the bushes grow or where the new growth would come from. They've just hacked. So we'll get them to grow better, and we'll go from there. But yeah, that's a vicious looking saw. Really should have a case over it. You could catch your hand on it, just the back of your hand knocked against that would draw blood. It's a vicious looking thing. And this one's even worse because this has got curves. So oh well. So we have enough to get cracking on the bushes. But as I said, it's not urgent, and Hannah likes to help with the garden. Now she's down this coming weekend, but I don't think it's going to be going out in the garden weather somehow. So maybe another time. All good stuff. All spending money I haven't really got, but you know, I can't. The longer you leave bushes to grow, the harder it is to cut them back, and the more dramatic it looks, if you see what I mean. Keeping things tidy, they'll always look nice. A major hack, because they've been left to get out of hand, always looks, you know, just looks not very nice for a while till they grow again, which they will do. So there we go, some new stuff. And I've had a change round. I'm hoping these birds aren't going to take over, but it might not be obvious, but I've been interested in birds since I was about 6 or 7. So we're looking at 60 odd years, 60 plus years worth of bird knowledge and experience going on here. So if I say I've seen a certain bird in the tree, then the chances are that's the bird we've seen. It came from my dad. My dad was always interested in birds, and basically in all our walks and adventures, you know, he would point things out. And I'd say, how do you know? And he'd explain. That was the difference. Looking in a book at a picture is not the same thing as having somebody pointing out a tiny little movement in the top of a flipping great tree and telling you what it is and why you can tell that's what it is from that distance. Every bird has its little set of features, and some of those are even obvious in a silhouette. So the knowledge is there, and the interest is coming back all of a sudden. I'd love to be able to do bird photography and go out in the field, but I haven't got the kit and I haven't got the money to get the kit, so that ain't going to happen. And sitting around for hours on end to get a picture is not my idea of fun. However, the way this was set up before, with the screen across there, was to allow me to view through there at the orchids. And most of the time that bit through there is going to be green. My display area is there. So when I'm sitting in my seat now, I've got a clear view of the bird area. And that's, you know, sort of out of the corner of my eye, which, so any movement, and I'll look round and think, ah, that's interesting. And the camera is right next to me. So while I'm sitting here, which is a reasonable amount of the day, hopefully we might be able to fit up. I mean, look at that. I mean, I've just pointed the camera at that for no other reason than to show you, and the robins turned up. So suddenly we've got something to look at. Yeah? And so it will be. Things will just turn up, you know. Today I've had starlings, the blackbird, one of the robins, I haven't seen the two together, and the great tit and the blue tit. I haven't seen the nuthatch today. But nonetheless, these birds are around. So, yeah. So I've rearranged things, and from my seat now I have a nice clear view of the birds, and I can still see my display. You know, the orchids that I bring out because they're in bloom. So I haven't lost the complete view of the grow room, and I think it's a good sacrifice, quite honestly, to lose some of the view of the grow room, which I didn't have at all in the other place, don't forget. I was at the other end of the room with my back to it. So any view of the grow room while I'm working at my laptop and that is a bonus. And that is the area that's of most interest. So, yeah. Slight bit of rearranging, and suddenly we have a different view. And the great tit came down earlier and landed on the fat balls, moved on to the peanuts, moved on to the seed feeder, which it's been on many times before, and then moved on to the one with the sunflower hearts in, which is round the back and closest to the bushes and the hedge. And for the rest of the day, that's the only one it's landed on. It hasn't gone on the table at all. So it's always come back to those sunflower hearts, so that's now its favourite. And the blue tit did a mixture. It had a couple of goes on the peanuts. I didn't see it on the fat balls, but it was on the table a couple of times. They're still going round as a pair, but I did notice today there are two great tits. Because while I was in the kitchen making a coffee, there was one on the table and one still in the hedge. So there is more than one. So anyway, just a quick update on a little bit of a rearrangement. You know, just moving that from that corner to there to allow that view to go through there. So I'm happy with that for now. I might change it again. Who knows? We shall see.